Hello, this is my latest blog. I'm still trying to get my head around the technicalities, and today I remade my green screen, bought a couple of extra sheets of green card and tacked them onto my 4 by 2 feet block of 3-ply wood with some double-sided carpet tape. So it's pretty strong stuff, and it seems to be roughly okay at the moment, I think. So I've made a bit of progress with the green screen aspect, and I've also been trying to work out where I am with the sound problems, and it remains to be seen as to whether the sound problems have been solved. So I'm going to do quite a short vlog today. I seem to be spending a lot of time on just getting to grips with the basic technology, so that's why I'm going to be fairly brief. So what have I done today? Well, I had a visit to the shop where I bought the green card, and what else? I played some piano, got up quite early this morning to play piano, and that's one way in which I'm hoping eventually to offset the time when the film from the camera it gets rendered on my computer as an MP4, and then from there it can be uploaded onto the internet. But the piano is, I don't know, I keep wanting to spend a bit more time on it, but it's progressing, but slowly, of course. That's the way these things are. Played a bit of guitar as well earlier in the day. Still working on mainly on my right hand, I think, I would say, and mainly working with the Tadcaster homemade guitar and my normal electroacoustic. So that's all fairly straightforward. Tomorrow I'm supposed to be going to nearby city to meet up with a friend, but he lives in the middle of nowhere and phoned me this afternoon to say that they'd had a fall of snow, and he's in one of these places where if we do have a snowfall then he tends to get snowed in. And I know snow in England is not like snow in a place like, some of these places in Canada and that sort of thing. But the thing is, part of the problem is how prepared are you for it? And because we don't get much snow in England, generally speaking, year on year, we don't have a lot invested in dealing with it. So we don't have a fleet of snow plows all over the place. I mean, there are one or two. I think each city has a few, But we're not in a major state of readiness for heavy snow or anything like that. And so at best, usually the main roads get gritted or salted, whatever it is they do to them. But if you get off the main road, those roads are left to you're left to do the best you can. And if you've got we don't have snow tyres, or hardly anybody does. I suppose some farmers might, but we don't normally have snow tyres in England. So if we do it takes quite a small amount of snow to screw everything up major. Anyway, that's a little bit about the state of art with our snow. I played a gig played a show at Terra Musica on Saturday, and I hadn't done that for a while because my piano had been out of action, and so I'd cancelled several shows over the past few weeks. So it was very nice indeed. We had a very lively little party there, and it was a nice crowd because it's a small venue. It was just right, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Made quite a few mistakes on piano, but then that's the case when you haven't played very much, and the mistakes tend to creep out. But it doesn't matter, I think. The question is whether you enjoy the event, and I certainly did. So I've moved on to another novel, the Paul Auster book that I was reading, which was some 1,000+ pages as a paperback, and I then used it. I got a bit bored with it after about halfway through, and I started using it as a prop to sort of like a doorstop almost, but to lean a piece of wood up a bit higher so it could keep my green screen nice and flat on the wall. Well, I've sorted that out, so I don't need it for that anymore. So I've put it back into my library shelves. I might go back and finish it off. It's one of these things where he's obviously a very clever person and writes very well, very good at American English, very good flowing sentences, all that sort of stuff. But I think if I was an author, I mean, I have dabbled in a bit of creative writing, fiction writing fiction prose. I think if I was looking at a book that was going to come out at 1,000 pages, I would think very hard about breaking that down into 2 separate books, even if it was part 1 and part 2. Probably I'd go for 3 books out of 1,000 pages, because I think probably about 300 pages is not too bad for a paperback novel. One of the reasons why I like, I mean, obviously I don't like slim paperbacks because you've read them before you've started almost, but something about 300 pages, if you've got as a bloke, right, I don't typically carry a handbag, well, I do carry shoulder bags from time to time, but as a bloke, it's very handy if you wear a jacket, and I do tend to wear a jacket both in summer and winter. You have fairly good sized pockets on most men's jackets on the side, and I think a paperback should fit in a men's jacket pocket, and that's my criterion for the first hurdle a novel has to jump, is can you put it in your pocket so that when you're on the metro you can just stick it in your pocket and then take it out easily, and then if it's your station's coming up, you just slip it back in your pocket and there it is, ready. If you're in the supermarket queue, well, don't have to worry about queues and so forth, just get your paperback out and read a few more pages. I like that sort of thing. Also, if you're sitting somewhere where it's not easy to get into a particularly comfortable position for reading, I mean, you're not in a comfortable armchair perhaps, then sometimes it's awkward to prop up a great big tome, and to turn the pages of it. It's a two-handed job, whereas I think a 300-page paperback can, generally speaking, be managed one-handed, or just using the second hand occasionally for page turning, that sort of thing. Okay, so that's nothing to do with the quality of the author and the quality of the author's prose, which I've said is excellent, but it's more to do with the way I use paperback novels. I do enjoy them. I read lots of them, I have to say. Nothing too heavy. Quite like whodunits, that sort of thing. Light fiction. I don't like anything tense. I can't stand tense things in novels or in films. Anyway, I'm going to stop this now so it doesn't go on too long, because it will take me forever to turn it into an MP3 on the computer if I speak for too long. And there are various technical tests that I need to make. So in a way, this vlog is in part experimental in terms of the technology. So goodbye for now, and I'll talk to you in due course.